Well, these days I feel more like reconnected with my one of a phase that I've experienced in life. Like, for example, this message is actually about how not to try to change the old self, the version of self that you were presented by life at some point. You understand? So let's say you were raised in a place of poverty that didn't have anything, but then all your life you've been living to run away from poverty, trying to suppress that memory, feeling disconnected with it, not seeing the part it played, and you then move on and climb up in life, but still feel empty even though you have all the things that you have. But because you have not connected with the reason, the cause of why you had the poverty, you somehow still feel some sort of way. That means you're not healed. You have not healed your past. Basically, what I'm actually getting right now is all about how we tend to want to dismiss what has happened, or deny, or run away because we're so shameful or guilty or whatsoever. My example is that, like, for example, as a 20-year-old, I was like fired up Christian who was given a phase in life where I had to experience life through a lens of expansion, I would say, because of how I was at the time as a 20-year-old to 22. I was like free and liberated and no cares and free to express myself, non-apologetic, what I felt, self-loving, But then for some reason, I guess I didn't have the inner strength and wisdom and insight when it comes to deal with my insecurities. So my insecurity got the best of me to the point that I shifted my lens and found myself entertaining the insecurities, fearing of being judged and criticized and called names and being different, yet not understanding why the universe, life, God, the divine nature gave me that fate to experience what I was experiencing, which is being sense of expansion. Where I was just one with it. I was one with being a Christian. I was one with what was going on with myself. I was one with everything. I was just okay with life as it was. But for some reason, because again, I was not awake enough to understand that insecurities can get in the way. So I'm being reminded because I met someone who's currently in that same age, doing what exactly I was doing, passionate about being a Christian and living life fully, expressing herself, and it's so beautiful. And I'm being reminded, this is me when I was 20. This is my 20-year-old self. But the funny, beautiful thing that I think is a healing part is that I had to become aware of all these insecure thoughts that will actually come as a result of being in that same state. So, for example, at that time, what I'm realizing is that I had so much insecurity of how was I going to be approached. Do you understand? So as a result, I kind of like shifted to my mind and entertained my insecurities. And what I'm actually getting is coming to conclusion. It's okay to feel or think how I felt then and how I left things. What is important is that I acknowledge what has happened. I accept, what I've dealt with as it is, without wanting anything to be in a different way. And leave it there and have the courage to leave things there as they were, without hoping and wishing and saying, oh no, just because I was insecure, let me be. Do you understand? But also realizing the cause behind the things, and understanding that did not happen out of nowhere. One, it was a part and part of my life that I needed to experience. So acknowledging that is me acknowledging life as it is. So that's one thing that I also understood, and the need of wanting things to change your past just because you want to feel different in the present moment. So the trick is not about really like forcing things to work in a way that you want them, but the trick that liberates you from the needs of pull and push, of wanting to have control, of wanting to have things to go in a certain way. It's about becoming aware of the need to push and pull, becoming aware of the need to have control, becoming aware of how you are choosing to position yourself. So basically that's what I'm getting. And through the sense of awareness, then you are actually liberated from everything, even your past. So that's what I'm actually getting.